And Gianni Pittella, are there questions from your side? Yes, Catherine, please.
Hi, Catherine Fiore, EU reporter. Sorry, but my question is on a decision ruling yesterday. The House of Commons overruled 2 amendments made by the House of Lords to the bill about the UK leaving the EU. And those 2 amendments, one of them concerned the rights of EU citizens to continue to reside in the UK, and the other one was about allowing the Parliament a meaningful vote. On one particular issue, and I think probably of particular importance to the S&D group, is the fact that people came legally to the UK to live and work in the full expectation that they would be able to continue doing so. And I'm wondering, given that the European Parliament will have a very important role in the negotiations, is this something that you intend to defend in future? And also, would you be able to say something about whether you could insist on the UK having a meaningful vote on this negotiation at the end? Thank you.
Well, look, clearly one of the fundamental points that my parliamentary group will defend to the hilt is that of defending the rights of European citizens who live and work in the UK, and at the same time we also wish to see guarantees of the rights of UK citizens who live and work in the European Union. There will be a strong and hard-fought battle for that. It seems to me the wrong path is being chosen. People are seeking to move into confrontation. This surely is a blind alley, and we have to ensure that things are seen for what they are. The disaster is beginning to unfold. Scotland has said it wishes to have a vote on moving outside the UK. So, you know, for Brexit, the UK will become residual UK. Now, there are a series of negative consequences flowing from hard Brexit. We'll try and put a stop to that. We'll try and make Mrs May see sense. Now, the idea of having some huge tax haven is the wrong path for the UK. There are commitments that are being entered into. Now, if I've got a house that I leave, I can't leave without paying for the gas and the water that I've consumed when I'm there. And the same, I think, will apply to Mrs May, although she's chosen hard Brexit, apparently.
Thank you. Daniel Brösler, please.
Yes, a question about Brexit too. You just mentioned Scotland. In your view, is there a possibility for Scotland to remain in the European Union or to swiftly rejoin the European Union after a split up of the United Kingdom?
That's a decision that doesn't fall to us, quite obviously. This is the beginning of a debate, and I think it's going to be a tough debate in the UK, between Scotland and Parliament. Parliament would have to authorise the referendum being held, and we can't influence on that dynamic, as far as I'm concerned, as far as the Socialist group is concerned. Our entire sympathy goes to the 68% of the Scots people who voted against Brexit, but it doesn't lie in our hands. If there's a referendum in Scotland, we have to see what their citizens choose at that time. And if they wish to join Europe, then we'd have to start negotiations.
To Kathleen van Bremt. Okay, we start here and then go over. Yes, please.
Macedonian Radio TV. One question on Macedonia. Do you have any comment to make on the political deadlock in the country and Parliament's non-discussion of the situation in that country and in the Balkans in general. Thank you. That was a decision of the rapporteur on Macedonia, who proposed to wait before the vote's taken on the report to see how the situation in the country develops. There's no negative view as far as we're concerned, but we want to have a better understanding of the situation and more generally for the Balkans. I have a message of opening up. I think there should be restated faith in positive relations between the EU and the Balkans, and we wish to continue the processes that are underway for accession of the Balkan countries that are involved in such processes at this time. Of course, we're looking beyond 2019, but we haven't changed our ideas. As far as we're concerned, the Balkans do constitute a political priority.
And then we go here. Yes.
Mr. Pitella, as far as I know, on Friday you will visit Greece. So let me ask you what will be on the agenda, and in particular whether you will also discuss the concept of two-speed Europe, supported, as far as I know, also by Italy, but it creates some concerns in Greece. Thank you.
I'm being invited to Athens to receive honorary citizenship of the city of Athens, which I'm immensely proud of. And that, for me, is the very symbol of democracy. I think you know that I was one of the people who spoke out most firmly in favour of Greece and its position in the EU. Of course, we will discuss a lot of things there, the sort of Europe we want to see. Now, what I say in Athens is what I say in Rome, is what I say to Prime Minister Gentiloni. We agree. A two-speed Europe cannot be the first choice. We can't say we want to divide up the EU between, the top league and the second league countries. No, we want to move forward together on shared policies. And looking not just at security and defence, but also the social agenda. The fiscal agenda, combating terrorism, completing the banking union, and then we shall see who will be there. But let's begin by identifying the policies we want to roll out. We're putting on the table 5 main policy planks, and we're turning to the 27 member states and saying, who wants to move forward? If everyone wants to move forward on those 5 areas, I'd be delighted. I wouldn't wish to exclude anyone. But if people want to stand back, that will be their own choice and their own responsibility. They are entitled to step back from certain policy areas. They can't stop other people moving forward. That's a clear ambition. Thank you.
Questions here, one in the back, please, and then Nikolai.
Monsieur Mali, journaliste.
Mr. Mali. President, concerning the declaration of the European Union on Turkey, may I ask you what the EU should do? You're saying that there's, an authoritarian drift taking over in Turkey. Are you referring to the statements made over the last week, or is this a matter of substance as far as you're concerned? And what should the EU do? The UN, for example, is publishing a report saying we've been trying to carry out investigations in Turkey for a year and we haven't been authorised so to do.
Merci.
Thank you. Well, look, I've answered this on a number of occasions, in practically every press conference. And, we have to be tenacious, and our position is very clear. We've called for a debate in the European Parliament before, there's this referendum that Erdogan has sought to achieve, and that would be in April before the referendum. And in that debate, we will state our position again most clearly.
And then one more then, yes.
Yes, hi, Nikolai Nielsen, EU Observer. I'm not sure if you've seen it, but there was the European Court of Justice just this morning came out with a ruling that basically says that Muslim women, that workplaces can impose rules that ban Muslim women from wearing the headscarf at work, and these kind of rules do not constitute direct discrimination. What are your views? You probably haven't seen the judgment, but what are your views? Can Muslim women wear headscarves at the workplace? Is that a form of discrimination? Where do you stand on that? Thank you.
I'm not going to comment on a judgment. I mean, judgments are there to be applied and not for me to comment on. This is for individual member states. It's not something we can deal with at European level.
Next ones are already David, and then we take the next question outside then because the Greens are waiting. David
Carretta, Radio Radicale.
David Carretta from Radio Radicale. I've got a question about Turkey because this is highly topical. I mean, following on from my colleague said, what should be done? I mean, above and beyond condemnations at this stage in the game, do you think that there should be some kind of formal action, reprisals, repercussions, halting negotiations? Do you think that we should be going beyond condemnations from either yourself or other EU institutions? Mr. Pitella, well, as you will know, because you are a very watchful journalist, you're on the ball, you know that we in our resolutions have said that it will be necessary to freeze. That was the word we used in English, to freeze accession negotiations. That does not mean slamming the door in Turkey's face. That means that with this establishment, with this leadership, which is driving Turkey towards a personalized authoritarian regime, then there's absolutely no room for maneuver when it comes to accession or membership. I mean, there's no leeway there. That is what we have said. But as I've said, we will await the debate in Parliament.
To join us tonight at 18:15 for a press reception with Gianni Pittella and our whole newly elected bureau. You're more than welcome. Merci.